Hello friends and fellow travelers, this is Wanderlust Wallman, but I'm actually Noah, in case you didn't know. It's nice to meet you. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, I make travel content that is more geared towards the adventurous traveler, or at least the person that's trying to get the most bang for their buck when visiting a place, having the best experiences possible that will not only be things you can think about for years going on end, but also that hopefully change and shape who you are as a person. Because hey, who would spend that much time and money, or maybe dedicate your life to it to a certain extent like I have, if it wasn't such a rewarding, life-changing experience? And that's why today I want to talk about one of those experiences that actually happened to me in the amazing place of Oahu, Hawaii. A place I actually spent a month of my life, which was a honeymoon, but really much more than a honeymoon, because my wife and I, we love to travel and adventure. We weren't staying in a resort. We were trying to get out there and really see, feel, and experience Oahu. And one of my bucket list things to do was to come across dolphins. And not in a way where you go to like SeaWorld and like, you know, get a cheesy picture and it's kind of like probably inhumane. I'm sure it is actually. Or like a wildlife excursion where they take you on a boat and kind of just like dump you in the ocean once they catch some dolphins that are probably trying to swim away and don't want to have anything to do with you. I had an actual, authentic, real experience interacting with dolphins where I just thrust myself into the ocean. Me, with the waves taking me as they would, and the dolphins coming to me and wanting to actually interact and have an experience with me, which I will talk about in more detail later. So like I said, this was on the island of Oahu, Hawaii, and it was one of our last 2 or 3 days there. So what a way to end our experience, our trip there. This was at the beach known as Makua Beach, which if you're interested in visiting it, with a little bit of research, you can find out it is the #1 place to see dolphins from the shores of Oahu and maybe have the chance to interact or swim with them without, you know, doing one of these excursions. So we rented a car, we drove all the way out there, about an hour from Waikiki. There was little to no people at the beach, and we were just sitting on the sand with our eyes peeled, hoping to see any dolphins out in the distance. Yep, there it is.
That's so crazy.
Ah! This is like the best.
Oh my gosh, look at it.
That being said, I wanted to be a little bit proactive, so I really wanted to go out into the water myself and see if I could come across them, because who knows where they were, even if you can't see them from shore. But to my dismay, the waves were absolutely horrendous. They were super strong, but not only were they big, they had a massive like pull or riptide or just tide in general, pulling you back out to the ocean, which is really scary. You hear about people that are in these kind of positions and they get pulled out to sea and they drown. So I was very like aware of this. I didn't want to have a horror story and disastrous end for both me and Vanessa after an amazing month in Oahu. But I still tried to go out there, and I was not able to do it. The waves were kicking my butt. Vanessa was recording. I was getting thrown around like a rag doll, and there was a lot of rocks that you were stepping on too. So that makes you a little kind of scary that even if you don't get dragged out to sea, you could like, you know, break something or bruise something really significantly. So I put that aside. I gave that up for now. And I went back to the beach. Vanessa and I hung out for what was probably a good like 2 or 3 hours before she started to see something from shore. And we weren't sure what it was, but she saw like little spouts and water coming out, which realistically is dolphins or a whale. But there were multiple and they're moving around really quickly. So I sent up my drone to do a little bit of recon, and there was a pack of, I don't know, like 15 dolphins, at least 15 dolphins swimming together. And the drone footage was absolutely beautiful and unbelievable. Right then we were jumping around like little kids on Christmas. Couldn't believe what we were actually seeing, not just with our eyes, but with the drone in great detail. And now I know that this possibility of me having this like experience swimming with dolphins, interacting with them in the wild, was definitely a possibility. It wasn't just like swimming out there and hoping for whatever comes, you know? So I decided to go for it again, even though the waves were still a little treacherous. They weren't quite as bad as they were before, but there was still a really strong pull. So I had this boogie board with me to keep me afloat, and I kind of just went for it. Jumped on the board, made sure the waves weren't going to toss me over, and then eventually it pulled me out to sea. And it was not very long before that water got really deep. And I mean so deep, it felt like I couldn't see more than like 5 feet in front of me. and it felt like anything could come out and attack me from the darkness, which isn't a good way to think about things when you're out there by yourself. So I turned my brain off and only thought about happy thoughts. And the thing is, I could see them every time I looked up. I could see their fins either here or there. They're much better at navigating in the water than us, so what they eventually did was they made their way towards me. And before I could see them, I would hear these little noises underwater, and I had no idea what a dolphin sounded like. I thought I knew. I thought it'd be like, or something terrible like that, but it sounded like very high-pitched dog whining back and forth, and a little staticky under the water. And I'm sure this was them talking to each other, being like, hey, you guys know what's going on over there? I have no idea, let's go check it out. No, you go check it out, I don't know. So eventually, out of the darkness, these dolphins just swam right by me. And I remember it just took me, it felt like what I was seeing and experiencing wasn't even real. Adrenaline was like pouring out of my glands, and I let out this really embarrassing but like noise of disbelief and awe and like, oh my god, what the frig is that, you know? And they were just so beautiful, so sleek and elegant, and also not human because they're dolphins, but so like individuals. Like actual like someone, not something, because one of the dolphins was swimming upside down with his buddies, and they looking at me sideways like, you see what I'm doing, bro? I bet I can swim better than you. Or maybe he's like trying to flex on me or impress me or his friends. I don't know. Maybe he was like a young dolphin, like a teenager, just being like reckless and in uncomfortable. Who knows, you know? These dolphins are incredibly intelligent and they're really good swimmers. So I was just sitting there like gawking, couldn't believe what was happening. My body was not shaking, but felt like it was pouring full of energy. And as these dolphins did pass, they eventually came back around. I don't know if it was the same ones or another part of the group, because like I said earlier, and you saw, there was like at least 15 of these bad boys, and at least like 3 of them came by me. Not that far away, maybe like 20 or 30 feet, which is pretty incredible. And then once that happened, they're kind of just gone. They like swam back out, vanished back into the darkness, and I was in a... It's really impossible to put into words how I felt. Like, you might be thinking, oh man, you just saw like wildlife, like who cares? I've been to the zoo, but this was like not only a connection with like really intelligent, beautiful creatures that I've never seen before, but it was authentic, it was real, it was terrifying. Things could have gone so worse, you know? Like, what if these dolphins felt threatened and wanted to like attack me? I know they're not very violent creatures inherently, but you never know. But I remember having this moment, and it's kind of like scary to talk about, and not really a good perspective. But I remember thinking, man, it was so much work to get out here. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to like make it through the waves. If I'm not able to get back to shore and I die out here, and it sounds really silly saying this, but I felt like a total inner peace and like an almost acceptance. That being said, I swam like as hard as I could. I just kept my head down and paddled back to shore. Didn't even look up until eventually I passed through the waves. But I thought, you know what, like, it was just like a total relief, feeling of inner peace and like connection. And my anxiety and like fear and nervousness kind of like all faded away, and I felt total bliss, you know. As you can see from this little interaction I had with Vanessa as soon as I got back to shore. This is the greatest day of my life. Holy crap. So that's it, everybody. That is a moment of my life while traveling that totally changed not only my outlook, but my view, my feelings, and gave me an ultimate lifelong memory that I'll never forget. And luckily I have video evidence of to reflect on and feel something profound. And hopefully this will inspire you to either go to Makua Beach in Hawaii or travel more or seek similar sort of experiences, because hey, like I said, what's the point of traveling if you don't have these life-changing or profound moments that we all, you know, hopefully seek deeper meaning in. So thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to check out the rest of my Oahu content if you want to see some more amazing adventures and lifelong memories that you too might be able to make if you do the same thing as me. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.